Have you ever experienced a moment at Holy Communion so unusual, so striking, that it felt like God Himself was trying to speak to you? Imagine this. You receive the Holy Eucharist, and as you begin to pray, the sacred host seems to cling to the roof of your mouth. At first, you think it's nothing, just a physical reaction, right? But then, deep inside, you sense something more. Could this be a sign? Could heaven be trying to tell you something? This is not just a coincidence, and it's not something to take lightly. Saint Faustina, the apostle of divine mercy, spoke about profound signs hidden in the smallest details of our spiritual life. Among them, what happens during Holy Communion carries a mystery that can change the way you approach the sacrament forever. Today, we are going to dive deep into what this extraordinary event really means when the host adheres to your palate, and why this might be a call to greater reverence, a deeper conversion of heart, and a powerful moment of grace. Stay with me, because what you're about to discover could transform the way you receive Jesus in the Eucharist. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Here we share powerful Catholic reflections, deep insights into the mysteries of our faith, and revelations that draw us closer to the merciful heart of Jesus. Click that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss these messages of grace. Before we uncover the true meaning of the host sticking to your palate, let's take a moment to understand the sacred context in which this extraordinary event occurs. The Holy Eucharist is the heart of Catholic life, the moment when bread and wine become the body and blood of Jesus Christ. Every Mass is a gateway into the divine, a chance to encounter God in the most intimate way possible. When we approach the altar, there is a quiet reverence, a sacred anticipation. For some, the experience is routine, part of their weekly ritual. But for others, something remarkable happens, a subtle yet powerful sensation. Perhaps the host lingers on the roof of the mouth, or a warm spiritual awareness sweeps through the body. These moments are not accidents. They are invitations, signs, and calls to deeper reflection. Consider this. The Eucharist is not just a symbolic act. It is a real encounter with Jesus Christ Himself. Saint Faustina, though she did not speak of every physical experience, often emphasized the importance of attention to small spiritual signs. In her writings, she revealed that God communicates in ways both subtle and profound, sometimes through prayer, sometimes through visions, and sometimes through the smallest gestures of our everyday faith. Have you ever wondered if the physical sensations you experience during communion might carry a hidden meaning? What if this simple act of receiving the host could awaken a deeper understanding of mercy, grace, and divine intimacy? Many faithful throughout history have experienced extraordinary signs during the sacrament. They may have felt warmth in their hearts, tears of devotion, or an unusual awareness of God's presence. And among these signs, the sticking of the host to the palate is one of the most mysterious. But what does it really mean? Is it purely physical, or does it carry a deeper spiritual significance? In this video, we will explore this question fully. We will dive into the symbolic meaning, spiritual insights attributed to Saint Faustina, mystical interpretations, and practical reflections for the faithful. By the end, you will see this experience not as a coincidence, but as a moment rich with divine possibility. Before we go further, I want to invite you to subscribe to this channel. Here, we explore profound Catholic reflections, hidden insights, and messages of divine mercy that can touch your soul. Click subscribe and turn on the bell so you never miss a moment of grace that could transform your spiritual life. Now, let us step more deeply into the mystery of the Eucharist and uncover what it truly means when the host clings to your palate. As we explore this phenomenon, I encourage you to open your heart. Think of your own experiences in Mass, the quiet moments of prayer, the times when God seemed close yet beyond words. This is where revelation begins, in the attentive soul ready to recognize the subtle whisper of God. Throughout this journey, remember, the Eucharist is a sacred encounter, a meeting with Christ in his most tangible form. Every nuance, every sensation, every feeling is a potential message from heaven. Some may dismiss these signs as accidental or unimportant. But for those who are attentive, who approach the altar with reverence and expectation, these small mysteries can reveal truths far greater than words can express. In the next sections, we will explore the symbolic meaning of the host sticking to your palate. We will examine how Catholic tradition interprets these experiences, the insights Saint Faustina's revelations provide, and how such signs can inspire a more devoted, prayerful, and spiritually aware life. So stay with us. Prepare to see communion in a way you never have before. Prepare to discover the hidden messages in the smallest moments of faith. And above all, prepare your heart to encounter the merciful heart of Jesus in a profoundly personal way. To understand the significance of the host sticking to the palate, we must first reflect on the deep symbolism embedded in the Eucharist. In Catholic tradition, the Holy Eucharist is more than a sacred ritual. It is the real presence of Jesus Christ. Every gesture, every movement, and every sensation during communion carries profound meaning. The host is not simply bread, it is the body of Christ. When it lingers on your palate, it may be a subtle, physical manifestation of spiritual truth. Some theologians suggest that the host adhering momentarily can symbolize a spiritual closeness, an invitation to pause and recognize the intimate connection between the soul and the divine. Throughout history, saints and mystics have often interpreted physical phenomena during prayer as messages from God. A sudden warmth in the heart, a shiver of awe, or the unexpected stickiness of the host can be viewed as signs of God's intimate presence. These are not random, they are deeply personal communications meant to awaken the soul. Consider also the symbolism of adhesion. Spiritually, sticking implies a connection that cannot easily be broken. It represents attachment, devotion, and the soul's union with Christ. In this sense, the host sticking to your palate can be seen as a call for deeper fidelity, a reminder that God desires not only our ritual participation, but our heartfelt devotion. Reflect on the words of the Catechism. The Eucharist is the source and summit of the Christian life. Every Mass, every communion, is a participation in the mystery of Christ's sacrifice. To experience a moment that draws attention, like the host sticking, invites a reflection on the personal, transformative power of this sacrament. These subtle signs remind us that faith is not only a matter of external acts. It is lived, felt, and sometimes physically experienced. Paying attention to such moments can transform ordinary communion into a profound encounter with God. Saint Faustina's writings emphasize the importance of noticing God's signs in everyday spiritual life. While she did not speak specifically about the host sticking to the palate, her reflections on divine mercy reveal a pattern. God communicates with those who are attentive. For example, she often noted subtle signs of grace during prayer, visions, feelings of warmth, even gentle physical sensations. These were all moments meant to guide the soul closer to Christ. In the same way, when the Eucharist clings to your palate, it can be interpreted as a personal message from heaven, a call to greater awareness, prayer, and humility. Saint Faustina's message is clear. God is present in both the extraordinary and the ordinary. Receiving the Eucharist with attention and reverence transforms a simple physical act into a powerful encounter with divine love. Each small sign, including the host sticking, can awaken spiritual reflection and deepen faith. Consider the spiritual lesson. God communicates in ways that go beyond words. A physical sensation may be paired with an inner invitation, a reminder of mercy, a call to conversion, or a prompt to gratitude. Paying attention to these experiences strengthens our relationship with Christ, turning routine communion into a transformative spiritual encounter. Mystics throughout Catholic history have often described physical experiences during prayer as windows into divine reality. A lingering sensation of the Eucharist may be mystical in nature, representing the soul's receptivity to God's grace. Mystics suggest that when the host sticks to the palate, it symbolizes the moment when God leaves an imprint on the soul, an intimate mark that invites reflection and prayer. This is not mere coincidence, it is divine intentionality. The soul is being reminded of its purpose, to cling to God, to grow in mercy, and to embrace holiness. This mystical sign calls us to mindfulness. When we receive communion, it is an opportunity for a deeper encounter with Jesus. The host sticking becomes a moment to pause, to pray internally, and to meditate on the mysteries of Christ's sacrifice. Throughout history, saints have described similar experiences during the Eucharist. Tears, inner warmth, physical sensations that carry profound spiritual meaning. These mystical moments reveal that God often works quietly, using subtle signs to awaken souls to higher truths. To those who are attentive, these signs bring clarity. They reveal the extraordinary within the ordinary, transforming physical experiences into spiritual lessons. The host sticking to the palate is one such lesson, a call to notice, to reflect, and to respond with devotion. How should we respond when we experience such a subtle sign during communion? First, approach it with reverence. Recognize it as a personal moment with God and allow it to inspire a deeper prayer. Consider these practices. Pause and reflect. Take a moment after receiving the Eucharist to silently meditate. Ask yourself what God may be revealing through this physical experience. Prayer of gratitude. Thank Jesus for his presence and the gift of the sacrament. Gratitude opens the heart to divine grace. Daily awareness. Remember that God's messages often come quietly. Pay attention not only during communion, but in other small moments of prayer. Share your experience. While the experience is deeply personal, sharing your reflections with a spiritual mentor or trusted faith community can deepen understanding and encourage others. Live the message. Let the experience inspire a more faithful and attentive spiritual life. Strive to embody the mercy, devotion, and love that the Eucharist signifies. By embracing these reflections, the simple act of receiving the host becomes a transformative spiritual moment. It is an invitation to deeper faith, a reminder that God speaks in ways both subtle and profound. The host sticking to your palate is not merely a physical occurrence, it is a call to attentiveness, humility, and devotion. As we reflect on the experience of the host sticking to your palate, it becomes clear that such moments are more than mere coincidence. They are invitations, divine whispers that encourage us to live with deeper awareness and devotion. Each subtle sign during communion can be understood as a message from God, a reminder that our spiritual life is alive and personal. Consider this. The Eucharist is the pinnacle of Catholic devotion. To receive it is to enter into the very presence of Christ, and when a small, unusual sensation occurs, like the host lingering in the mouth, it serves as a gentle nudge to pay attention, to recognize God's work in our lives and to respond with prayer and gratitude. These moments teach us several important lessons. Attentiveness to God. Faith requires awareness. Just as we notice small details in our everyday lives, we are called to notice the quiet ways God speaks to us. The host sticking is a physical manifestation of this principle. Reverence in communion. Every Mass is an opportunity to encounter Christ. The physical and spiritual aspects of the Eucharist are intertwined. Experiencing a unique sensation is a reminder to approach the sacrament with humility and respect. Inner reflection. This experience encourages introspection. What is God asking of you today? How can you respond more faithfully to his love and mercy? Small signs, when observed with a reflective heart, often reveal deep truths about our spiritual journey. Faith in the ordinary. God often works through ordinary events, transforming them into extraordinary experiences. A routine communion becomes a moment of grace when we are attentive to subtle signs. Personal encounter. The host sticking may symbolize a personal call from Jesus, a message tailored to your spiritual path. It is an invitation to deepen your relationship with Him, to pray more fervently, and to embody the love and mercy of Christ in your daily life. As we consider these reflections, it is important to remember that spiritual experiences are not one-size-fits-all. Some may feel a profound connection, while others may notice subtle warmth, a fleeting sensation, or a sense of awe. All of these are valid encounters with the divine, and each offers an opportunity for growth and deeper faith. The lesson here is simple, yet profound. Be attentive, be reverent, and be open to God's messages. Moments like these remind us that God is present in every detail of our lives, and that even the smallest experience can carry a spiritual revelation. Reflect on your own experiences in Mass. Have you ever felt a special connection to Christ in a quiet moment? Perhaps during prayer, meditation, or communion, God has already spoken to you in ways you may not have fully noticed. The host sticking is just one example of the subtle ways God draws our attention to His presence, mercy, and love. By embracing these reflections, we can transform ordinary acts of faith into extraordinary encounters with the divine. Each communion becomes a chance to encounter Jesus personally, to receive His grace, and to deepen our spiritual life. Remember, the Eucharist is not only a sacrament, it is a living, dynamic encounter with the Merciful Heart of Jesus. Finally, let this experience inspire a renewed devotion. Approach each Mass with expectation, gratitude, and attentiveness. Seek to understand the messages God provides through subtle signs. And above all, allow your heart to be transformed by the mercy and love revealed in the Eucharist. As we come to the end of this reflection, it is clear that the host sticking to your palate is far more than a simple physical sensation. It is a subtle, sacred sign, a reminder that God communicates with us in both extraordinary and ordinary ways. This experience calls us to be attentive, reverent, and deeply connected to our spiritual life. Remember, the Eucharist is the source and summit of our faith. Every Mass, every communion, is an invitation to encounter Christ in His most intimate form. The small, unexpected moments, like the host lingering on the palate, serve as gentle nudges, encouraging us to pause, reflect, and respond with love and devotion. These moments remind us that faith is lived in awareness. God's messages often come quietly through small signs that we might otherwise overlook. By paying attention, by reflecting on these experiences, we open our hearts to the transformative power of divine mercy. The host sticking is one such sign, a call to deepen our connection with Christ, to live with humility, and to embrace the spiritual growth offered through attentive devotion. As you leave this reflection, consider how you can bring this awareness into your daily life. Approach each Mass with expectation and gratitude. Observe the small signs that God places in your path. Let these moments inspire you to live with greater reverence, faith, and love. Every communion can become a powerful encounter with the Merciful Heart of Jesus if we are open, attentive, and prayerful. And now, before we conclude, I want to remind you to subscribe to this channel. Here, you will find powerful reflections, insights into divine mercy, and messages designed to inspire, guide, and touch your soul. Click the subscribe button, turn on the bell, and join our community of faithful seekers ready to encounter Christ in new and profound ways. Take this experience with you beyond today. Let it inspire your prayers, your devotion, and your understanding of the Eucharist. Reflect on your own spiritual moments and recognize that God speaks in subtle ways. The physical sensation you experienced is more than a curiosity. It is an invitation to grow closer to the divine, to embrace His mercy, and to deepen your life of prayer. Finally, remember that God's love and messages are always personal. The Eucharist is a living encounter, and the signs we experience are tailored to our own hearts and souls. Cherish these moments, share them with your faith community, and allow them to inspire a life of devotion and spiritual awareness. Thank you for joining this reflection. If this message has touched your heart, if it has inspired you to see communion in a new light, don't forget to subscribe. Stay with us for more insights, spiritual guidance, and messages of divine mercy that can transform your faith. May the merciful heart of Jesus continue to guide you, inspire you, and reveal his love in every moment of your spiritual journey. Remember, the smallest signs can carry the greatest messages. Pay attention, reflect deeply, and embrace the grace offered to you today.